Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Guy.
And we are the Action Guys. Boom! Ah! Didn't see that coming, did you guys?
I bet you they were expecting us to do something different.
Yeah. And then to not talk about it, but we always talk about it.
We always talk about it. We're going to start to lose people in the first 10 seconds.
I don't think so.
I don't either. I love it.
If I was a new listener, I would love this. I can guarantee it. I am impartial. So, guys, this is the Action Guys, and today on the show, we are answering the question, what is the greatest directorial debut of all time? This is because this week, on Action Movie Anatomy, we covered the film Get Out.
Yeah. Jordan Peele's Get Out came out in 2017. The reason that we covered that was because the release of Us is happening very
film.
soon.
Yep.
Very excited about it. Highly anticipated. It looks creepy as all hell. It's got an all-star cast, and it got us to thinking about this thing, about debuts and how great. I mean, because a lot of our favorite directors, the Nolans, the PTs of the world, their first movie, you're like, it's okay.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's kind of like their miss. They got a chance to warm up. James Cameron.
People are usually more concerned with P.T. Anderson's first movie if it's called Hard 8 or Sydney than they are about the movie actually being good. You know,
exactly.
When it comes to Nolan, it's like Following is the movie no one's seen. You know, with like Fincher, it's like Alien 3 sucks.
Yes,
it's a bad movie.
Well, it wasn't what was James Cameron's first movie or Peter Jackson's? They both have really weird ones too.
Yeah, Cameron's. Well,
Piranha 2 is Cameron's, right?
Cameron's first movie is Piranha 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of these directors don't have a great debut.
Right.
Occasionally, you get somebody like a Jordan Peele who comes along and has a great debut, and I'm excited to see what the reactions to Us are this weekend at South by at debuts, I think. And but today, the question we are trying to answer is, what is the greatest directorial debut of all time? And in our opinion, there are kind of a few classic categories that we've got a bunch of written down here. The first category is the up-and-comer.
Right.
So what we define that as is, like, let's say a director comes out with a movie and it's a really good movie, but then they go on to have an unbelievable career. Well, that first movie then gets looked at with rose-colored glasses as an early classic.
Right.
Whereas if the rest of their career had sucked, that movie would be above average but not special.
Right. And then the other category, or another category, is the classic category, where the first film that they did is a classic. Now, it might not even be the best film they've ever directed, but it may be the fact that the movie that they came out swinging out of the gates with was a movie that will just always be remembered as one of the greatest movies of all time. And just to look ahead a little bit, Get Out, Ben and I argue, is now in that category.
I think Get Out's in the top 100. And then the last category is the one-hit wonder. And this is a director who had so much claim in their first film that no matter what the quality of the rest of their career was, no matter how many films they make that were good or bad, never will another film have quite the level of significance in the all-time canon that first film has.
Yeah.
And there's
a couple newer directors in there as well that we haven't seen anything else out of them, so they are kind of in the position to either succeed or not fail, but kind of fall flat.
A lot of hype surrounding their first film that it's going to be hard to live up to.
Yes.
So those are the three categories we are kind of going to define this list into. We're going to get into all three lists here in just a second, which we're really excited to do. But before we do that, there's a couple things we want to share with you guys, the listeners of the Action Guys. The first is that if you guys are watching this clip on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. This is the Collider Podcasts channel on YouTube. It helps this thing grow. We need your help to have that continue to grow. Subscribe, like, comment, all the things. We're also on the Collider Podcast Movie Talk feed.
Yes.
So leave your comments there. Check it out. We drop on Friday every single week. Now, beyond that, there's a few things that Drew and I are working on that we want to talk to you guys about. I'm going to let Drew jump in with that.
100%. The thing that Ben and I have been working on so tirelessly with an incredible team of people working with us is Action Industries. Yeah, say it again, baby. Action Industries. This is something that we're trying to go global with. Everything from the Action Guys to Action Movie Anatomy to Movie Trivia Schmodown to just basically what we do in our own lives. We are trying to build this brand to just go global. So what you can do to help us is find Action Industries on Facebook. Give that page a like. Go to Team Action Show on Twitter. Give us a follow and leave a couple comments. Leave us a tweet. Tweet us about today's episode. And lastly, of course, Action Industries on Instagram. We do a really fun game on there once a week where we either take a sound clip or a clip from a movie and post it up there. And the first person to respond gets their question live answered on Action Movie Anatomy. And we give them a little bit of a shout out. That'd be a cool way to maybe come up with a game for the Action Guys in the forward.
I think we should. I think we absolutely should. And the very last thing to plug, because I think you guys are going to find this particularly interesting, is that Andrew and I have a match that debuts this week. It's a It's a teams match in the movie Trivia Schmodown. There's a feud going on right now where Drew and I are rivaling each other. And as we used to do in the old days, back when we were brothers, before the bond was broken, we actually did a reaction to this match. We went behind the scenes. We gave some of the beats, the breakdowns, the things that happened. You guys can find that exclusively on our Patreon, patreon.com/teamaction, along with these full episodes for this show that will drop every single Friday to patrons of. So go check out those tiers. There's a brand new list of them coming out this week, patreon.com/teamaction. Thanks for supporting. Let's get into the show.
Absolutely. So now we are going to get into breaking down what is the greatest directorial debut of all time. But firstly, we need to break down the three categories: the up-and-comer, the classic, and of course, the one-hit wonder. We've already defined them. Let's start with the up-and-comer.
So there's a couple movies written here on the up-and-comer. I'm going to jump in with one that's near and dear to my heart, and that's Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
It's a weird one to have on this list. It's a great directorial debut. Quentin Tarantino, 1992. This is a wonderful film, and in a lot of ways, this is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
It is so iconic. There's so many things, whether it's from the names or the ear cutting off the ear scene. You know, that is probably the most iconic of it. The reason that it falls in this category, though, is because Quentin Tarantino goes on and does Kill Bill, and goes on and does Pulp Fiction, and goes on and does
Django
so many
and
more
Inglourious
things.
Bastards and all these. He makes movies that get nominated for and win Oscars. He makes movies that become, like, literally Pulp Fiction is one of the 100 greatest films ever made. So no matter how good Reservoir Dogs is, it's impossible not to think of it in retrospect as an up-and-comer, that if every movie he had made afterwards was not as good, Reservoir Dogs would be considered a really good movie, but I don't think Reservoir Dogs would have the significance that it has because it's directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And so much of it is lifted from the film. I think it's City on Fire. Is that the name of the film? I think that's the
that he pulled from,
yeah,
or whatever. Yeah,
a lot of it. So I think that is the first and best one to reference. I'm a huge fan of Reservoir Dogs, like I said, and I haven't watched it in a few years, but I often feel like that is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Your favorite is Kill Bill, right?
My favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, it actually might be Pulp Fiction now. I'm not positive, but like the fact that we covered it on our show so recently, and like I've seen it actually more times this year than I think I ever have in like 1 year in my life, and or within the last year, and I just really, really love so many things about that movie.
So I'm gonna let you jump in with the last one on this list here that I feel like is one of your favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. The very last guy on this list that we have here is Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
actually, I'm gonna take him. I was gonna go Darren Aronofsky.